Okay, well, thank you everyone for your patience. I think we're going to go ahead and get started because we have a pretty jam-packed schedule for this morning's webinar. First and foremost, just want to thank you all for taking the time out of your very busy schedules to be here. I know if your workplace looks anything like mine lately, it's been very, very, very busy. So we appreciate every minute we can get with you guys, and we're excited to share some visions for success and strategies for best practices in the classroom. My name is Curtis Stiegsman. I'm the North American Academic Sales Manager at CCI Learning. Typically, I'm your MC for these events. Some of you who have attended before have probably heard my voice several times, and because this presentation is mostly focused on our Canadian customers, I recognize pretty much everyone on the attendee list, so nice to see you all. I think we have a couple of international people as well. You're more than welcome to stay. Thank you for taking the time. Wherever you are in the world, we're very excited to share all of this with you. So the focus of this webinar this morning is on getting Canadian educators set up for 2021. And what do we mean by that? So we're taking a look at all of the different resources that CCI Learning provides and how to make effective use of them, particularly in a remote environment. We know that obviously the academic landscape has changed pretty significantly over the last year, and will stay that way for the foreseeable future. So we're going to discuss some of those strategies today. And I will be passing it over to my colleague, Catherine Jones, the Customer Success Manager for Canada. Probably many of you have spoken with her already as well, but I'm going to cover off a quick introduction here before we dive into the content. So we'll take just a quick look at our agenda. We're going to start off just with a quick welcome and introduction from me. Then I'm going to pass it over to Catherine. She's going to go through the CCI Academy website, a deep dive. That's a repository for some great step-by-step instructions on all of the programs that we offer. She will cover the exam objectives and getting certification ready, the CCI Learning and Jasperactive support websites, and then how to communicate with your tech department, which is always a fun challenge to embrace. And then, of course, we're going to leave some time for questions and answers at the end. Just a few housekeeping notes. We ask that you please keep your microphones muted during the presentation, unless you have a burning question, at which point you could unmute yourself and ask. That said, we do have some time at the end, of course, for Q&A. And we also have a chat feature. If you haven't used Teams before, there's a chat window where you can ask some of your questions there. And as we're moving through the presentation, we'll do our best to address them, but certainly we'll address them at the end as well. Just some quick information on the background of CCI Learning. Probably most of you who are in the call today are familiar with us, but I'd like to just start off with a little bit of, explaining sort of the company history, who we are today, and then ultimately our vision. So we started about 30 years ago as a book publisher, a courseware developer for in-class curriculum, typically for software platforms like Microsoft Office. Since then, we evolved and partnered with an organization called Certify, who is a division of Pearson Education, to help them introduce their certifications for vendors like Microsoft, Adobe, Autodesk into the academic space. So we work directly with high schools and colleges to augment their existing programs by adding in an industry credential from vendors like Microsoft. We've been doing that for several years. More recently, we decided to dive headfirst into the software development world, and we developed our own proprietary learning software for Microsoft Office called Jasperactive. That product has since evolved and branched out into other certifications as well, which we can touch on perhaps a little bit later in the presentation. We also provide services for onboarding and sessions like you're sitting in on today. And to be honest, ultimately, if you can't tell, we're very, very passionate about what we do. We're a bunch of fun, cool people who are excited about technology and excited to share success across classrooms across the country. So just to start off with sort of our belief system here and our ecosystem at CCI Learning. So we believe that every lifetime deserves to be maximized. This is our mantra, and we try to apply this in everything we do. We want learners to be able to work hard and ultimately reach their potential. And we think that every student deserves a fair and equal chance to succeed, no matter what their learning style is. So with that in mind, we develop resources that help educators inspire excitement throughout the classroom through hands-on learning and industry certification. Of course, with the last year, everyone learning remote, it's been a challenge. It's a challenge at the best of times to keep students engaged. And so it's our focus to be able to provide engaging resources that keep students' attention and also make your life as an educator a little bit easier, because we know that everyone's been working extra hard in the past year. We believe that empowering students with future-ready skills is of the utmost importance. And so we're always asking, how do we help students maximize their learning potential and help them prepare for their educational advancement or ultimately their career? We know that all learning needs to be engaging, and so we focus on embracing new ideas. We want to be able to meet students where they are. And, sometimes that means we have to challenge the status quo. We need to be able to show students that learning can be exciting, and we believe that through the development of vocational skills and industry certification, that we're providing one of the many ways to make that a reality. We do have several members of our team here on the call. So I believe we have Vanessa Knox. She's our president and COO. Myself, Curtis, I've already done my introduction. I think we have Dan Sweeney, who's our director of IT, Uzair Khan, our marketing manager, Raul Herrera, who is our government and corporate strategic relations manager, a bit of a mouthful. And we have Lexi Wynn, who's our sales and marketing coordinator. And of course, we also have Catherine Jones, who I am going to humbly pass the remainder of the presentation over. Catherine is our customer success manager. So when you partner with CCI Learning, she becomes your onboarding specialist. She works with you on how to make these programs successful, and she's going to share some of her best practices and some of the information that she has after developing and working with our customers for the last year in this capacity. So Catherine, over to you.
Hi, thank you very much. So now I am going to attempt to ask for the controls, which is always my favorite. So give me 1 second. Can everyone see my screen? I'm assuming, Curtis, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so I've had a look through the participants on this list, so I know that I've worked with a lot of you already. So as you all know, I'm the customer success manager for Canada. This presentation is basically for Canadian clients and Canadian clients only. However, there's a lot of crossover with other countries. So if for some reason you're from another country and you're having a look at this presentation as well, you can definitely utilize whatever it is that we have available at any time. So the other thing that I want to point out is that as everyone probably already knows me quite well, I have a tendency to talk a lot and I talk fast. So I'm going to go through a bunch of material, but I tried to pare this down. So this is going to be a very light presentation, but we do have the Q&A at the end so that I can answer direct questions for your specific needs. So the first thing that that's on the agenda is the website deep dive. So before I actually get into the website, what I wanted to do was apparently I wanted to pause for a second. Give me 1 second. There we go. So this is our strategy for implementation with students. It's simplistic, but it's the way we see the best results. And the reason why I wanted to point this out is that our programs and our resources are plentiful. We have so many of them, and it's really hard for teachers to kind of navigate where they want to go. And if this is your first year in the program, this is a very basic strategy for getting you started at in the beginning. The first that I've got on the list is select your teachable. Choose the one particular course that you need to focus on, that you want to get your students up and running with, and start off with one only. And after you've done, say, a semester or a quad now with the pandemic, then start looking into branching into other ones. I find that there's a lot of information and it's a lot to take in, and everybody is so inundated with emails and new programs and having to be online and all these different LMS services. It just ends up being too much. So I would suggest that you take one course. For example, if you're going to do, say, Microsoft Word, we're going to focus on that. We're going to do Jasperactive online, and that's the thing that we're going to start off with. So you choose your one course preferably. Then most of our programs have an administrative and a student access. And so there's going to be two sides that you're always going to have to learn. There's the teacher side, how you're getting everything set up, and then how do you get your students started with it. So the next step that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to check out the Academy website, which is what I'm going to go into in a couple of minutes. Right after you've checked out the website, this is when you kind of need to know what the program is. And I know that's a really hard ask right now because everyone has so many things that they're trying to accomplish, but you need to know where the program goes, how to maneuver, what the interfaces are, and the easiest way to do that is to try the program out yourself. If you can actually get into the program, start moving around, using the lessons, even if you don't do the entire program, at least it gives you an understanding of what types of questions the students are going to encounter, because you'll understand how you had some stumbling blocks and how you overcame them. So that's my next suggestion. The next one, getting started with your students. Each program requires a login and an access code for your students. And I know a lot of colleges and higher ed provide a lot of these tools and resources to get the students started and up and running in the programs. For some students, that works great. For people that are go-getters, they're off and running. For most students, they need that first session where you're walking them into the program. So if at all possible, again, with any of the programs that we have, if you can log in, share your screen, walk a student through, this is how you do it, record your session, and then use that for your classes moving forward, that would be fantastic. It's usually that first hurdle that really getting in is where students get they have a little bit of trepidation. They're like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. What if I click the wrong thing? Is my computer going to blow up? Right? That's really what they're always worried about. So I highly recommend doing that process with your students. The last one is a huge ask. I totally know this. Daily check-ins, especially on the high school level. College level, not so much, but on the high school level, students, unless they're really proactive, they get off track, right? And so if you have a set times place for your students to come in and check in with you so they can ask questions if they end up having any sort of stumbling blocks. That seems to be working the best for the programs that are highly successful that we've found. So in this last year and a half, I basically tried to figure out which programs were working the most successfully and then pull some of those materials from them. And then I'm trying to present that here. So the programs that I know of that really excel usually have daily check-ins or at least a couple of times a week. So that's my strategy. That's my little bit of a lecture type thing. The next thing that I'm going to get into is the CCI Learning Academy website. This website was specifically created for our students and teachers. However, the focus of this website currently is more focused on the teacher side of it. And we created this website as a repository for information. So one of the things that I want to point out with this website is that we created it at the beginning of the pandemic. There's a lot of information there that we want to convey to you. And so this website is a constant in progress type of website. So the first thing that I want to point out is on the home page. When you land on this home page, you're going to see there's a couple of options up at the top. These options at the top, this is for the student side of things, and it was really focused around high school. In fact, there was one particular district that we started off creating this site for, and then it just kind of morphed into a much larger resource. So on that side of it is the student side. I'm not going to go into the student side because I really want to focus on you, the teachers, today. So I'm going to scroll down and go down to this button which says Teacher Login. When you log in, it'll bring you to this web page. Now, right at this particular moment, we have the website completely open to anyone so that they can see it. I do have a registration here on the website, and this is so that if there's any sort of news or updates that we have you down that you would like to see those news articles and updates. To date, we haven't actually sent anything out yet, but in theory, that's what's going to be happening. So just to let you know. So when you sign up, when you do a username and email, you can log in and then it'll track where you're at. And then if you haven't registered before, you can register. I highly recommend that whenever you're doing a registration, that you keep the usernames and passwords probably consistent across all our platforms with the certification programs. I know that you have to update them periodically, and really you should be updating your passwords every 6 months. But the reason why I say that is because there's quite a few programs to start with, and when you first get started, it's just easier to have the same username and password. When you log in or when you register, there's a registration page. It'll ask for your first name, last name, email address. The password is an 8-character password, and you have to have 1 capital letter and 1 numeral in there as well. You can choose your account type. Right now, the only reason why I have this as a teacher, IT department, office admin, or superintendent is so that I'm not crowding your inbox. I know I've seen teachers' inboxes. You guys get a lot of emails. So I want to make sure that anything that I send out is specifically to what your needs are. So if you can put in your account type, that would be great. It doesn't actually mean anything once you're in the website. It's just for my information so that I don't give you too much information. School and institution, if you can give us that, and then you just click on register and it'll bring you back to that login page. I'm just going to come over to here. The very first time you register, it'll actually take you to a class page. But what I want to do is I want to come back to this page. And the reason for it is because the second time you come here, you're going to land on this page. You're going to see the login. You're going to log in. Now, right now we have the website open. Everything that's on the website is available on this top menu. This will be continually fleshed out as we go along, but the idea is that the start here is just to give you a high-level overview of what the certification program is. On every single page, we have a menu that right in the middle. Right as you scroll down the page, this menu will stick to the top. So you will always have that menu accessible to you. Just below this menu, I have a couple of anchor points because I don't know if anyone is as impatient as I am, but I want to get to what I want to know right now, right? So I always put in anchors so that if for some reason you're at the setup Jasperactive, you could click on this anchor and it'll take you down to Jasperactive. This gives you a little tiny bit of an overview, and then it also has a button for getting you to the step-by-step instructions. What I want to point out on this website is that under learning software, this is where we have our 3 main components. I'm just going to scroll up a little bit. We have the 3 main components. We've got Jasperactive, we've got Jasperactive Moss Online, we've got Jasperactive Moss Desktop, and we've also got Jasperactive Digital Literacy. So there's a couple of different ways that you can implement these programs. For example, the one that we use the most these days with the virtual world is the Jasperactive Moss Online. So if I click on Jasperactive Moss Online, it will bring me to a page that is instructions based on never touching the program. Your first time in, this is what you do. So at the very beginning, I've got sorting out the Jasperactive family because I know that it can be a little bit confusing. We do have an online program. We have our desktop download version, and then we also have Jasperactive Digital Literacy. When I scroll down, we've got overview videos. So we give you a couple of key points on what's so fantastic about our programs. Then below, we've got resources, quick login accesses, and then we have step-by-step. So how do you sign in? How do you get started? We've got videos on things. We've got screen views if you need to see a screen view, if you just want quickly jog my memory. And it walks you through all the way down to the bottom to how to give the codes to students. So these pages are incredibly helpful for getting started. Now, they don't have absolutely everything in them. They have the very, very basics in, and I'm in the process of fleshing this website out so that we're providing a little bit more information. But you do have getting started with geometrics as well, and then we also have Compass. The big question these days is, how do I get started with remote exams? So you already have your learning material, you've already done Jasperactive, Moss Online, and now you want your students to get certified. This page, certification exams, I've got 2 drop downs, which I'm going to actually build out into a larger space. But right now we have getting started with remote exams and getting started with Compass Lab. So this would be inside the school. So most people aren't doing that these days. And this one is much more accessible. So I'm going to click on remote exams. Now, if you've gone through a training session with me, you also know that this is all available here. Again, same style. Everything is a menu in the middle. You've got quick anchors down below, and it's a step-by-step process, assuming you know nothing. So if you come in and you've got certification exams in a virtual lab, if you don't understand what a virtual lab is, watch the video. It really helps clarify things. Then we've got teacher preparation. It's a little bit wordy, my apologies. We do have links to Certiport web pages so that if you have to make your account, I've got your link right there, so you don't have to go anywhere else. If you're scared of a registration, if you're the type of person that really likes to see exactly what's going to happen, we've got step-by-step instructions, which will bring up a PDF. Any of the PDFs that you see on the website, you can download and use them at any point, but it will give you a full walkthrough. And then it's going to go through everything from connecting to your testing center. How do you connect? How do you sign the Proctor agreement? Where are the instructions? If you see any of these little bars like that, that's a drop-down menu. You can click on that and it'll give you the step-by-step instructions. Everything that's on this page is this is a video that I did at the very beginning. Everyone has to be gentle with me, so it might sound a little weak, but we do have a video there as well. And then even down to the Certiport communication, I've got screenshots of what it would look like. What is the emails that you're going to receive? So I highly recommend everyone have a read through this. Some people have already gone through a lot of these steps. I kind of force everyone in our training sessions to go through these, even while we're on the phone sometimes. So, but at least you'll see the step-by-step process all the way down to getting your students signed in. The next step that I want to, I want to point out one more thing. Another item that we've got in here is we've got some PDF resources that are at the top. I'm going to start doing this with most of our pages so that you can have templates. The idea behind this is that I've got emails that I had to write out when I was helping the teachers get in. So it's already got screenshots and some verbiage that you can take, download, use how you like it, and run with it. One of the next parts that I want to kind of jump into is our exam objectives. So I'm just going to pull this up. I'm going to try to do this with a PowerPoint and live in view as well. So we've got exam objectives and getting certification ready. So that essentially what I was telling you about getting into remote exams. The next one that I want to talk about is key features to their exams and their objectives. All certification exams, we have exam objectives for them, which is full pages of how an exam is going to roll out and what they need to know in order to pass that exam. Exams require 70% passing. So if a student has 70% in a program, there's a good chance that they're going to pass. If they have 75%, there's a much greater chance. If they have 80% in a program, much greater chance. So they need 70% in order to pass their certification exams. When you're giving certification exams to students, another question that I get a lot is how does the exam roll out? Each student is going to have a different exam. There's a bank of exams, and they are randomly doled out as test takers get into the system and download their exams. So you never know if you're in a classroom setting and you've got 3 students lined up, they could have 3 different exams. They will be same type of questions, but they will be different scenarios, in which case they will have to answer them slightly different. The other thing that I want to point out is that there's no limit on exam retakes. If a student doesn't pass their exam, they can retake it. Now, obviously, there's Depending on your account, you know, there might be a cost associated with it. But if you've got a student that is, you know, really trying their best and they want to make sure that they can get their certification, and you know that it's going to have a strong impact in their life later on down the road, especially if they're in high school and they might not go on to other programs, then this let them take it over and over again. There is a time delay in between the exams, 24 hours after the first one, 48 after the second. This is determined by the vendor, so there are some slight variations, but we do have all of that listed out as well, so we can tell you for which one. So I'm going to escape out of my PowerPoint and come back to the web page. And now I'm going to land on the Teach by Program. I don't have all of these in yet. I will have a couple of more coming in, but I want you to see these pages. They vary depending on the vendor and depending on what the resources are. So number one question that I get from teachers is, where do I go? I want to teach this class. And if it's in a high school, it could be somebody that's just been thrown into a new course. They've never taught it. They don't know the programs. Where do I go? What do I do? So this is what these pages are meant to be. One of the ones that I wanted to point out was the Microsoft Technology Associate. And the reason why I'm pointing this one out is because there's quite a few exams underneath this umbrella, and coding and technical certifications are on the rise now that we're in such a virtual world. So we've seen a real push for these ones. Now, if I scroll down the page, here again, I've got my menu in the middle. I've got my anchors down below, but this was supposed to be a resource that gives you as many things as I possibly could on a single page without you having to go very far. So the idea is you've got the exam objectives underneath each one of the type of courses. You can also see which courses they are. So we've got Python, Java, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. We've also got the pro courses, and then there's also the database fundamentals. We've got all of the different exam functions in here. So if you click on one of these little PDFs, if it has a little PDF next to it, you can click on it. That one is going to pop up and it's going to give you the objective domains. This is going to run you through every single section that they need to know. I'm sorry if this is a little bit small. I don't know how we're doing on visuals. And then, so it's going to give you an idea of exactly what it is that you're going to need to teach in your class. Now, depending on the resources that you have, the learning components will depend on if you need to create this, or if you already have this, or if it aligns to a course that you're already doing. If you have a course that you want to work with, and you don't have something created, definitely get in touch with us and we'll see what we can put together for you. The other thing that I want to highlight on the side here is that we've got a couple of areas where there's free software tools. So for example, one of the things that Microsoft Office gave out this year was Imagine Academy. It's now a free resource. Imagine Academy is yet another website where you can download resources. If you have access to Imagine Academy, I highly recommend, if you ever think that you're going to be teaching any of the coding courses, go into that website and download everything that you can. Take note, they do give them in different languages, so make sure that you get your language. Sorry, I'm umming a lot. The next thing that I want to point out is I'm gonna choose Apple. It's not a certification that has been a big one because most people have Microsoft Office products, but for those students that do have Macs, and if you're looking to put them in, say it's a co-op placement or something like that, and they have a Mac computer at home, and you're looking to find an additional program that you want to work with them, there is Appleswift. On this particular page, they give you student guides and teacher guides, and they're free. They also give you free software. Now, this software is specifically for Mac, right? But once again, you can click on the links. If the little hand, if you run your mouse across something and it changes to a hand, it's going to a resource that is an external resource that you can click on and get. So what I've tried to do on these pages is if there's any sort of free resources that you can get, it might be on this page. And if I have access to it, it will be on this page. So for example, QuickBooks is a big one. There is desktop and online software that you can apply for. It is an application, so these will take you to those application pages. Again, we have our exam objectives. So just to give you an idea of what an exam objective could look like from different vendors. This is another one down here. So just to give you a bit of a shot. So screenshot. The other thing too that I posted on these pages is the fact that you can practice with geometrics. Almost all of our certification exams have a practice component in geometrics, and they also have the Certify component, right? So you would certify using the Compass software. So on here as well, we have program admin. Here's where all the stuff that you really don't like doing, it's all the detail stuff about what your responsibilities are in the program. So if you go to the program brief, this is it's almost like a brochure document. And one of the things that I've put in here is roles and responsibilities. So roles, who's doing what and where. If you have any questions, you can come to this page and have a look. For example, success manager, that would be me. I help you with your project planning and your implementation. Roles and responsibilities in your school. This is what we're hoping you will take on as your responsibility. So as a teacher, you're going to identify the classes that you want to teach it in. You're going to go to the Academy website. You're going to attend the initial training sessions with me where I get to push you around a little bit. And then you're going to administer Proctor exams, and then you're going to help communicate with your program lead in your school, and you're also going to help communicate with me. So that gives you just a little bit. If you need to learn a little bit more about the program, or you'd like to have that greater sense of what the program is, definitely come to this page and have a look there. And in typical fashion, I am talking too much. So I'm going to go to one other page, which is the student portal. I'm going to go over on the right-hand side. I'm going to click on this student portal. It's an icon that is on all of the teacher pages. And as you can see, when I'm on this page, I've also got it as a student teacher portal, so you can go back and forth between the two. On this very first page, this is on the student side, you'll notice that in the middle, the navigation menu has different options. And the reason for that is eventually we're going to have the teacher side completely on the teacher component so that they can't cross over, and then the student will be completely on the student side. But right now, because we're utilizing both sides continuously, I wanted to make it open for everyone. So on this page, we've got a getting started, and it basically walks you through how to download. Now, when we first started this, there was we were using this in the classroom. So this page tells you how to get a full program loaded in the classroom. The one that I wanted to point out is that there is a student login, Jasperactive Moss Online. That's what everybody seems to be focusing on right now, given the circumstances. And so we have a page for how a student actually gets logged in, how they can access their course on Office, how they log in for the first time. They click on their app, they go to the web app, and then how do they get Jasperactive in their ribbon if IT hasn't put it in, and then what do they do to get started. So very, very basic instructional steps. These pages are also going to be built out even more so. We'll have continual added resources. So I highly recommend that if you're looking for a resource and you don't see it on the website, fire me an email, and chances are I've already created something and it's just in the process of getting uploaded. So I'm going to jump off the CCI Learning Academy website because there's a lot of stuff in here. So play around, have a look. If you get lost, I highly recommend bookmarking pages. Create a file folder specifically for pages for your certification program. Make one for Jasperactive, make one for geometrics, make one for remote exams, make one saying Catherine, right? Right? Because in the training sessions, I'm going to say, go to this page, go to this page, go to this page. So if you have one that's just a place where you can dump so that you know that you have access to it, it's a really great resource tool. It saves you time. Okay. So I'm going to jump back into our PowerPoint, and will it let me do it? Yes, it will. Okay, so sorry. CCI Jasperactive support websites. We have a number of support websites, and we're in the process of amalgamating some of those sites. But I wanted to tell you about them just because there's a lot of great information on them, and a lot of people don't even know these sites exist. So the first one, Jasperactive support. Jasperactive support is a great website. It gives you how-to instructions. It tells you how to submit a support ticket, gives you a video library. This is just a quick screenshot of what it looks like. In the field, in the search field, you can actually put in whatever it is that you're looking for. You're looking for Office add-in 365. You can put that in, click on it, and it'll bring up a grouping of articles, and within those articles you'll see which ones you want to land on. We also have IT articles in there as well, whereas the Academy website is predominantly focused on teacher support. So in here, if you have some IT questions, this is a great place where you could go to find some of those resources. They have a video library. Also on the getting started, it says select your version below. There's different web pages that will give you very quick step-by-step instructions as well. We created those in conjunction with the Academy website. The Academy website is focused on Canadian versus those other ones focus on the rest of the world. So just so that you know that. The next one is our CCI Learning Support page. So we do have support articles on there. You also can submit a ticket for that. They have training videos. There's a lot of crossover, but on the CCI Learning website, they have a couple of interesting articles in there as well. Some of them are pertaining to all the different types of programs. One of the ones that I wanted to point out is, as you can see on the lower part of my screen there, I've got Microsoft Imagine Academy getting started. So if for some reason you have the free access, you can go there and learn how to get started with it. It's not something that we usually walk people through or do training with, unless you're outside of Canada. And so that's a great place to start with. So the next thing that I wanted to do is I want to land on that page. When you're submitting a ticket, they have a number of different questions that they're going to ask you, right? And once you've created an account, as you can see, I created an account and I've got my name at the top corner here. Once you've created an account and you submit the tickets, it actually logs all of your tickets together. The nice thing that happens with that is if you've got an ongoing conversation with IT, we've got them all grouped together so that we can go back and see, you know, maybe you told us that you have an operating system of this particular type a year ago. We can actually go back and have a quick look. Now, that leads me into let's click on to the next one, how to communicate with your tech departments. So I, of course, in my attempts to be fun, throwing some digs at the IT department. I don't know if this happens with you guys, but every time something goes wrong and you have to talk to an IT guy, they have a different language. they talk about things in a different way. And so that was one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up. So on my next slide, let's see if it'll let me go there. Tips on how to get the right information from your tech support. So one of the things that makes it a lot easier for tech to understand where you're coming from and what you're doing is that you have to be able to communicate it. And a lot of people have difficulty in that communication. So the easiest way around that is to send a screenshot of the lesson. If you're on a Windows computer and you don't know how to do a quick screenshot, it's Windows plus Shift plus S. And then you just drag and drop across the page and that'll grab you a screenshot. You can then copy it and put it directly into a ticket, or you can save it in your computer and then upload it to a ticket. So depending on the ticketing system. And that's a great recommendation for anyone that you're working with, for any tech department. This is not specific to us. The other thing that I want to say is quick videos. if you can grab a little quick video and you can either save it as an MP4 file or you can save it as a GIF, I highly recommend Snagit. That's what our IT department gave to all of us, and it's actually a great program. I use it all the time. It's also great for creating short lessons for your students if you want to send out a quick video to them. But you can take a video. Often the steps that you do before you hit the snag and the steps that you attempt to do after you hit the snag can influence where you are in the program. And that's important for your tech department to know. If you can explain the keys that you use. Like, I clicked save, then I hit, you know, this, and then I hit this, and now I'm here and I can't go anywhere. What did I do wrong, right? Even those type of details, that means a lot to the tech department because they know exactly where you're at. The last one on there is, what operating system are you using? A lot of people don't recognize what kind of computer they're on. And if they're on an older computer and you're doing virtual lessons and you've got somebody that's an international student, say, you need to know what kind of computer they are, what kind of operating system they are, because that's the starting point for a lot of tech departments, especially if you're talking to your own tech department about downloading software. So those are my tips on getting the right information from your tech department. And then, I know this is really wordy, and I don't expect you to actually read this. Don't worry, we're going to be sending out this PowerPoint afterwards, and I'm actually going to include a couple of extra slides because there's more information that I want you guys to have. I'm just trying to talk exceptionally fast. With tech department, which tech department do I use? It gets confusing. There's a lot of tech departments. Every single vendor has a tech department. Every single program that you're going to be using, even in the certification program, so Gmetrics, Certiport, Jasperactive, we all have tech departments. And then CCI Learning, that's who you're partnering with. We also have a tech department, right? Everyone has a tech department. So how do you navigate the waters of that? So, for example, getting started. If you're just getting started with a program with us, the first place is you talk to me because I'm going to overload you with information. I'm going to give you the instructions on how to get installation happening. Now, if you have a school restricted device, if you need to download any sort of resources, you're going to have to talk to your IT department. However, let's say you get your Jasperactive downloaded, but now you're having difficulty navigating in Jasperactive. Now you want to talk to our tech support, because your tech support isn't going to know all of the different applications. They're not going to know Gmetrics very well, or Jasperactive, or even Certiport and Compass very well. So we do. So come to us for that. That's where we can really help you. Adding a vendor. You want to teach the Adobe class, but you don't have the Adobe software. First, go check out our Academy website. If there's a free version there, great, grab it. If you can grab it and you're on a school device, you're going to need your IT department to help you download that. We're not able to help you on the CCI Learning side. We're not able to help you with the vendor software. If you've got an Adobe piece that you need some help with, you're going to have to talk to Adobe and your IT department. If you've got a Microsoft Office application, you're going to need your operating system, you're going to need to talk to your IT department and that particular vendor. We can't help you with that. We might be able to point you in the right direction, but it's out of our wheelhouse. So Photoshop, another example. Photoshop's not working. I'm not necessarily going to be able to help you. Your IT department might be able to troubleshoot with you because it might just be something that's specific to your machine. Our CCI Jasperactive support isn't going to be able to help you with specifically Photoshop. That is a vendor software that we don't have control over. Jasperactive update. We can help you with that. That's us. We can provide you with the instructions. If you need to update it and it requires a download and you're on a restricted device, you will need your IT department to download that. What a lot of times teachers don't necessarily know if they have a restricted device or where the controls are. And so they'll try to download it and now they can't access the program at all, right? So now they have to like go and get their IT department and everything needs to start happening on that end. So keep that in mind before you do your updates. Find out if you have a restricted device. If there's no restrictions on your device, we can totally help you with that. Not a problem. Talk to our IT department. Microsoft updates. Not able to help you. Sorry. Again, you're going to have to go directly to Microsoft. we can potentially help you ask the question. I might be able to help you with the language around it. But otherwise, you are going to have to talk to your IT department, and the CCI Learning Jasperactive support isn't going to be able to help you. They might be able to give you tips when you're in a call from them, but they're not your first go-to sources. You'll just be wasting your time. So all of this is in lieu of you've only got a limited amount of time. You need to get this done and dealt with. Where's your best chance to get this done? So that was the idea behind this grid. And I had a lot more of them to put in here, but it was just too word intensive for this PowerPoint. So that's where I'm going to add those to the PowerPoint that I'm going to be sending out to you afterwards. So that is technically, I'm supposed to be stopping in 4 minutes with my questions. And so that anyone can have question answers now. And if anyone would like me to walk through different spaces on the websites, I'm more than happy to do that. And we'll go from there. Has anyone got any questions? I know that I do talk fast. I talk a lot. I'm very hyper. If you need me to be calmer, let me know at the beginning of a conversation. I can always go calm. Lori, yes, you have a question. Feel free to unmute yourself. If you are new to Teams, that's another thing. If you are new to Teams, okay, there we go. Perfect.
Yep, and I'm really excited about this course. I know about it, but I haven't been involved in it before. So I'm really looking forward if I can be involved in this program.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Lori, the best thing to do right now, if you could put in the chat your name, your school that you're affiliated with, okay. And we should have your email and your registration so we can get in touch with you. So I'm part of the customer success. So once you're in our program, I walk you through all of this and I help you with your training and all of that kind of stuff. But initially, what we'll do is we'll have a conversation with our account managers as well. And in this case, right now, it's probably going to be Curtis. So Curtis would actually walk through what programs you need and how we can facilitate that. Okay. Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have a look around on the website too.
I will. Yeah. Thank you.
Charlene, I've got a question in here. It says, do you need a separate login for Academy or is it the same as Jasperactive? Thank you, Curtis. I just saw Curtis put his email address in the chat. So anyone that needs to get in touch with him, he can definitely feel free. The login for the Academy website, you actually create it on the page. So you need to choose whether or not you want it to be the same. I recommend that you make it the same as your Jasperactive login. There's so many passwords these days. It's so frustrating to keep tabs on. So you might as well keep it across the board the same. Now, if you change your Jasperactive password, and then you go over to the Academy site, right now they are not linked. We're hoping to do that in the future, but right at this particular moment, they're not linked. So they are separate logins.
Okay, good.
All right. Anyone else have a question? You're welcome.
No.
Wow, this is a quiet group. I'm not used to quiet groups. I'm used to like people giving me lots of information. I can bounce around and show you things then. I'm sure everyone has done Jasperactive Moss online or had a little bit of interaction or at least heard about it. It's probably one of the easiest programs to get up and running insofar as it's online. You don't have to download. And it can be used with a Mac computer, it can be used with a Chromebook, it can be used with a Windows book. So a Windows computer. So you this is a great program to start. The Jasperactive Moss Online is only 10 to 15-hour course. So if you've got a short quad and you've got a lot of material that you want to incorporate, so let's say you're doing an English class and you need them to write an essay and they need to know how to use a Word document because you want them to properly format it, and you're going to teach them, I don't know, annotated bibliographies or something like that, right? So this is a great one to use right before they have to create that. You know what? You need to learn how to navigate around the Word document. Make sure that you understand how to set your alignment tabs, right? Things like that. It's a great way to get your students in, and they can work at it on their own as a standalone course. You walk them into it, they take it off and off they're running with it. I've just got a question here. Can educators certify students from home? Yes, they can. Sorry. Everyone can take an exam from home. Everyone, let me give a little bit better of a summary. I usually utilize Curtis for this because I'm so chatty. So every teacher can become a proctor. And when you're a proctor and you're giving a certification exam to students at home, you can proctor up to 10 students. What happens is you create a Certiport account and you get associated to a testing center. So that would be your school testing center. And then you have to schedule your certification exams with Certiport. So although I wasn't planning on showing this, I might as well, since I've got 8 minutes left, which is unheard of. And I don't know about you guys, but anytime I try to use a password at the same time as talking, I can never do it. So I'm just going to log into the Certiport website just so that you can get a little bit of a behind the scenes look at what the Certiport website is like. When you first create an account, this is how you become a test candidate. So even test takers, students, teachers, everyone has to take a Certiport, has to create a Certiport account. When they first log in and they get set up with their account, they'll be a test candidate. If you're a teacher and you want to proctor certification exams at home, you want to scroll down the page and click on Become a Proctor. Super simple. You click on that, it brings up your proctor agreement, and you presumably and hopefully everyone will read through their proctor agreement so that they understand the rules and regulations. You will read through this. Once you've read it, you're going to click on Accept. And that's it. Presto magic, super easy. So once you're a proctor, you'll have an additional tab that's down here that says Proctor. And when you click on your different roles, it gives you different menu options at the top. One of the menu options here is Schedule Exams. If I click on this Schedule Exam, it'll bring me to this particular page. Now this page is available in all of the different roles. When you get here, Certiport gives you a ton of information. You've got lots of links on the side, you've got scheduling exams from home, and when you scroll down, they give you this little booking widget. This booking widget gives you all of the different opportunities for how you're going to take a certification exam from home. You have to schedule them. Now, let's say I'm going to do the maximum, because that's what most people do, is 6 to 10 candidates, and I'm going to be self-serving. That means I'm going to be doing the proctoring for this certification exam. I'm the teacher, they're my kids. I'm going to be proctoring them. I'm going to click on See Times, and when I scroll down here, it's going to give me the first available time slots. Now, they only give you certification exam time slots 6 weeks out. So if you're planning on booking something at the end of the semester, you want to go from the end date of when you would like the certification exam to happen, put it in your calendar 6 weeks out to make sure that you come in here and you book your session. These sessions go quickly, so we really want to make sure that you get it. You can click on your time and you fill out your details. When you fill in your details, you're filling it in as a proctor, but you do need your Certiport ID, and that's when you become associated to a testing center. I just saw Brian's question. Hi, Brian. How do teachers get certified? Who would proctor for them? Great question. So We do have a little bit of a workaround for teachers getting certified. So the first thing that I would say, to be honest, is if anyone on this call is interested in taking a certification exam, I will proctor your certification exam. And the reason why I say that is because I will use it as a learning opportunity for you guys. So what I'll do is I will send out the emails just as though you were a student and you're going to get logged in, and all of the different documentation that you would want to read through and the videos that you would want to read through. And then we will set up a time and I will show you in behind the scenes of what happens while you're getting logged in to take your certification exam. Now, there are ways that you can proctor yourself in a certification exam as a teacher, but we would need to have a couple of more questions and details about that. So if you're interested in doing that, then let me know. But in the meantime, I would love to get you through a certification exam. So anyone that is interested in doing a certification exam, put your name and email address in the chat. Tell me which exam you want to take. And I will set up a time slot to get you started, and I'm going to use it as a learning opportunity so that you can see him behind the scenes. So double-edged sword. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about too is that Certiport from time to time has live trainings, and these trainings right here on the side of this scheduling exams page, if I click on that, it's going to take me directly into the meeting, so I can't take you there because they do it with a Teams meeting, or at least they did the last one I was in. So if you ever see those and you see the time, put it in your calendar, mark it down. It's great to hear things right from Certiport's mouth, right? So if you can join in any of their weekly live trainings, that would be fantastic. And you can jump in them at any time. You don't even have to register, right? So a great resource. Certiport also gives you videos as well. One of the pages, if I've still got a captive audience, I am going to go back to my Academy webpage, and because I'm on the student Jasperactive, getting logged in for Jasperactive, right up here, there is study guides, a study guides page, and a video library, and then you've also got the Certify page. This Certify page is specifically so that you can hand it off to your students and not have to tell them any instructions. That's the theory. That's the idea. Now, I know every student has a bajillion questions as soon as you get started, and reading is always an issue. So, myself included, I'm a scanner, I have to admit. So on this page, it again, same style. You've got your main navigation menu in the middle. You've got your anchor so that you can click to your different anchors. And then when you scroll down, you get a little bit of a video. Now, I don't know how loud my sound is. I'm gonna jump in. It's a great resource, video resource that's short. It's like 3 minutes long, and it talks about what the exam looks like. So the student will have a visual of how they're going to navigate through that exam. It's a fantastic video. Highly recommend. Send your students to this page so that they can watch that video. They also have to create a Certiport account. Everyone has to create a Certiport account. Nobody is exempt. So this tells you that you have to do it. Here's a login. If I click on that button, it takes me to that page to log in. I'm going to register as a new user. I'm going to click on register. I'm already logged in, so it won't let me. If I click on the Certiport registration PDF guide, it's the exact same guide that you had on your teacher side. It's exactly the same, but the student has to go through. But at least they have the guide right there, so you don't have to walk them through. Now, if you're going to do this with a younger class, you might actually want to walk them through it because students, they kind of get tripped up with some of the language. They don't read everything, all of that kind of stuff. So I would recommend walking them through it if you can. If not, you've got this page, you've got all the instructions. As you scroll down, it says get prepared for your certification exam training. There's a video that talks all about what the test candidate is going to go through. So as a student, they're going to get their link, they're going to click on their link, it's going to open up in a web page, and they're going to log into the Compass software. This video explains how that happens. The other thing is there's a tech requirements, review the tech requirements. We also have on this page, Ooh, I'm right at the hour mark. We also have this page is the speed test. There's a little link on here that allows you to check out your speed. This is really important if you are in rural Canada. You need at least 5 megabytes download. So it's not like you need a lot in order to do the certification exam. But if you don't have a strong internet connection, all you do is hit go. If you don't have a strong internet connection, then you want to make sure that nobody else is using Netflix, nobody else is using the internet, everyone else is logged off. If you have a weak wireless connection, you want to hardwire your computer or your laptop. And what I mean by that is there's an Ethernet cord that you plug into the back of your laptop, so you're directly connected to your internet. So you want to be able to do those type of things. And this speed test is a great way to start. Like if a student says, I got cut out or it's not working, you might want to look at this as well with your student and see what their home system is like. I have a faster upload speed than most people. So you probably, I don't know why I did this. You probably won't see those speeds. I'm super impatient. So I have the highest one that TELUS will give me. The other thing is that we have some frequently asked questions in here. So you've got some drop-down menus with some screenshots. There's a notepad before taking an exam. There's an exam day checklist, right? And then you've got post-exam what your students do. The whole point being everything has already been written out for you. So if you're a teacher pressed for time, send them to this page. You can still do some of the walkthrough, but at least you've got it all listed out for yourself. You don't have to think about it. So if you find that there's something on this website that you're like, you know what, I really need this resource much more fast or much more accessible, I need something else, let me know. This website is designed for teachers, for you to use as a repository. So if I haven't got the right thing in there, let me know. I'll make sure I get the right thing. Whew. Okay, so technically speaking, it is 11:02. I am supposed to stop talking at this point, but as you can tell, I can keep going. So if anyone else has any questions, I'm just going to read through. Oh, yeah. So one of the things that Vanessa brought up, thank you, Vanessa, is that they can share, once they get their certification exam, they pass their certification exam, they can share it on LinkedIn. They can share it on Facebook. It's a great way for other students to know that they can even get certification in it, especially for students that don't necessarily want to go into the post-secondary world. Certification, micro-certifications are key. If you are a teacher that teaches Adobe programs, you can't get a design job without knowing Adobe. You just can't, right? Like it's one of those programs. We have certifications in it. We're hoping that we might have some extra resources coming down the pipe. So definitely keep your ears open to that one. But those certification exams could get them through the front door, even if they don't know anything about graphic design, but they know Photoshop and they know how to work around it and edit photos and stuff like that, but they don't have the design mind. They could still even get themselves into a co-op position because they already have that knowledge and training. Those programs, they're big programs, right? So if they can get that in high school, at the high school level, that's fantastic. If they get it at the college level, still fantastic. It will definitely help them get that job. And that's the whole objective, is that students are going to walk away with something tangible. And this is going to sound terrible. I have a political science degree. I love my degree. I love reading. I love writing. Nobody knows what it means. unless you're a poli-sci person or you've taken a couple of poli-sci courses, they're like, what did you do? What's your skill set, right? Oh, thank you, Theo. Yay, there's another one that has a political science degree. So so one of the things that I had to learn how to do is I had to get a lot of skills. So yeah, I know how to use Adobe. Yeah, I know how to create websites. Yeah, I know how to do a lot of different things. Has it benefited me? Absolutely. Even in the job that I'm in right now. I'm a trainer. I help train you guys and get you guys sorted. I help plan your programs. I'm basically your project manager for your certification program. And then as soon as you don't need me, I hand off the reins to you guys. However, all of those technical skills that I've got made this job accessible to me, right? Because I was able to do it. So It's just one of those things. Charlene, you have to run. Thank you so much. Toddler on the rampage. It's awesome. Thank you to everyone that's been actually here. I know that everyone's pressed for time and there's so many directions that everyone's trying to take you in. So I really appreciate you spending the time with me because I have so much information to give you. So if there's any other questions, I'm more than happy to stay on the call. I have nothing planned for the next hour. So if you want to listen to my voice for the next hour, you can.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. I think I hit all the questions. Zarima, hi Zarima. Awesome, that would be great. I'd love to take your questions. And who else have we got? Adam, thank you. Certification badges are awesome. All right, so looks like Deborah, I can attest that Catherine Jones is a very, thank you. Great resource and lifesaver. That's very sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, good call, Uzair. Oh, I should have said this earlier. I'm so sorry. We have social media accounts. So we're often announcing things, especially when we're doing these webinars. For some of you, that's probably how you learned about it. We also send out newsletters. The marketing team will send out newsletters. We sent it out through me as well this year, or this time. And but we also have social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram. So we're constantly posting things that are accessible there. Follow us on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a great resource. And if you can, link up to anyone in our organization for LinkedIn.